hi, Dana. Thank you so much for joining today. And to begin with, just wanted to ask you to introduce yourself and may you tell us a little about Everest Clinical Research.
Sure. Well, thanks for having me and setting up this conversation. I'm Dana Leff Niedzielska. I'm the Senior Vice President of Global Clinical Operations at Everest Clinical Research. We are a full-service CRO based in Toronto, Canada, with global operations. Myself, I joined the company last year in November of 2023 through the acquisition of my company, which was called August Research. We were a clinical operations focused CRO in Europe, and my background is clinical operations in Europe generally over the past 25 years now.
Sounds good. So you actually been working with Flex Databases in August Research as well for many years, and now again you're working with Flex Databases in Everest. So we kind of follow you everywhere. But in Everest, we actually started working a little before August Research. Yeah. And I wanted to ask you what initially motivated you to sign the contract with Flex for CTMS and TMF?
Sure. To be honest, I've known about the company for quite a while, even before we became a client through the industry in Europe and through working with other CROs. So I knew of the people, I knew the quality of the work that you were doing. And as our company grew and needed an in-house CTMS and eTMF platform, actually, we were introduced to the program through one of our clients, actually, who started using it. And on a study that we were working on, they asked us to use it. And for us, it almost served as a trial and sort of a test. And we certainly liked it. So when we came to investing in our own in-house system, we did look at some others, but it was really, it pretty quickly rose to the top as an option for us. And I should say why that was. What I really liked about Flex, the system and the company, is that we found that there was a lot of customer service. There was customization available, but things were, in general, the system was quite flexible. We did look at some systems which were a lot more rigid, that had been developed much earlier, and it was very hard to make changes. And it seemed like it would be very expensive, and we'd have to go through a lot of bureaucracy and a long time period to make changes. And we believed, and we do see that things can happen much faster working with Flex, that the team is available and interested and helpful when we need things done. So that's really what's kept us as a client and makes a big difference for us on a regular basis.
Thank you so much. I will skip then the question what stood out to you about working with Flex Databases.
Sure.
But one of the questions that I wanted to ask, and something that I think sometimes may be overlooked by the companies when they're looking for CTMS, TMF, other clinical providers, is this customer support and being customer oriented. So how do you feel about that, Flex? Like you kind of started talking about it as well.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think when you're purchasing systems, that's one of the most important things because, it's just a technology, and generally speaking, every system is different. It needs training, it needs support, and every company wants to use things in a slightly different way. And without that accessibility to the company and to the developers and to account managers who can help you work through changes, you invest a lot of money in basically nothing. You have a license for something that really isn't serving a purpose for you and isn't really helping move your business forward. So for me, that was one of the most important parts of deciding to go, as I said, to go with Flex. And one of the things that honestly keeps us as a client of the system is that when we have changes, or when we want to make changes, or when things happen, there is somebody that we can call and we can get help, and that really creates a huge amount of value for us.
Yeah, even if it means you calling me, that also works.
Right, because I think what's important as well is for smaller companies, we can't invest in a full-time employee just to manage a system.
Yeah.
And you see that with a lot of systems, that once you purchase a system, you actually have to then go out and hire staff just to maintain and manage that system. And we, as a smaller company, we don't have the budget or to invest in that. And so we need systems that are user-friendly enough, and that when we need help, it's something that our actual users can work with the vendor to get that help and to make those implementation changes. So, so that's also another important element for us.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't think, on one hand, yeah, nobody really needs people to manage Flex from the client perspective. I think that yeah, like normal clinical operations people can deal with it on their own. But another thing I wanted to say, I don't think that Everest is that of a small company now, especially after several acquisitions, including August Research. Like together, how many people already?
We are 700. We are 700 in the whole company. So we are getting up there, but we are we use these systems really within our clinical operations, and so we're not using it across the whole company, because obviously we have other functions, a lot of biostats and data management, and they're using other systems. So but yes, we are using it on more. The truth is, we are using it on more studies, bigger studies, and we're certainly looking forward to some of the new things that you guys are rolling out to help us manage that in a more efficient way.
Yeah, that's upcoming. So before we go into what's upcoming with to manage things in a more efficient way, do you remember if something actually improved with implementing the system, like within monitoring or documents management? Like what were the improvements, compliance, efficiency?
Sure. So yeah, I mean, I think the thing that we see quickest, well, we see, because we still do use some other TMF systems that sometimes our clients bring to us, or some legacy things, and certainly we like working in the TMF much better than some of the other systems that we work with. You know, it's easier, it's faster, and so our clinical teams that actually work in the systems every day do give us feedback that they like working in it, and that it's better than other systems that they use. So,
Good. I'm happy. So the staff is happy. That's
for me, that's one of the most important things, is that I know that when our staff is happy, they can keep our clients happy, and we'll get good results at the end of the day. So
100%.
Certainly, if you think back over the past 10 years, we have new systems to touch almost every part of a clinical trial. And so the more and more we introduce new systems, they have to be user friendly, because people just don't have time and to deal with so many different things that don't speak to each other or use different types of conventions. So we're happy to use the TMF and CTMS from Flex. For us, that just makes things a little bit easier to at least have systems that are communicating on the back end themselves. So we're not having to do things twice in that way.
Yeah, makes total sense. Yeah. And we are always also pro being an open system with API, being ready to integrate with whatever you're already using, or like a global BI tool. That's extremely important nowadays. 100%.
Yes. So, one thing I think that's really important to us is, as we move forward with centralized monitoring, we are creating more dashboards, and we are going to be pulling more of the information out of our Flex systems to help us manage trials in a new way, and adding more efficiency there by looking into all of our systems together. So those integrations are going to become even more important for us.
Yeah, we'll be there. We'll be there to help with everything. We have, I think, just two questions that I wanted to address today. And one of the last ones is, so you know that sometimes potential clients come and I'm like, talk to Dana, for instance. What would you tell to those potential clients that are kind of thinking, should we go with Flex? Should we go with someone else?
Well, as I said from the beginning, I think, there are many systems out there. And I guess if you really compare the system to system, a lot of them, may look similar and do the same thing, right? TMF is in, many ways, it's a directory, we're putting documents in a directory. And, how complicated can that be? But it is complicated. Obviously, it is a regulated system. But really what you have to look at is who's behind the company and what kind of service and what kind of support are you going to get for that system. Because as I said in the beginning, if you buy a system, great, you've now spent a lot of money on something, but you have to be able to use it efficiently and roll it out to the whole team, and people have to be willing to use it. Because I know of cases where companies roll out a system and it's so complicated that people just make up workarounds and never even engage with it. And so it's really important for the system to be friendly and to have the support of the company behind you, to be able to support you through the way as you go, and also to work with you as your company grows and develops and changes, and as you may need new things. And so that's what I feel like we get with Flex. We have the support from the team. Certainly the company is also looking at always rolling out new things, which we really appreciate. And so, keeping the product up to date with, what's happening in the market.
Thank you so much for today. It's always a pleasure seeing you, and hopefully to many, many more years of collaboration then.
Likewise. Thank you, Evgenia.